So having said that, right, what are the strengths of dynamic baselines? Our panelists are going to provide a lot more perspective and context that really digs into some of these nuances. But at a high level, dynamic baselines provide a data-backed counterfactual estimate, defining either past trends leading up to a particular point in time, or trends that are concurrent with or being like actively realized across a landscape and used to compare against a project. Dynamic baselines, by nature of being dynamic across time, can be regularly updated to reflect real-world changing conditions. And they also provide a much more statistically robust way to quantify the uncertainty in a given counterfactual. Because a dynamic baselining approach typically produces a range of possibilities, that range gives us a measure of uncertainty around what we're defining as the counterfactual. And I know Carlos will share a lot later about how Pachama is thinking about that problem and the benefits of uncertainty quantification. But again, there are a lot of variations in how we see dynamic baselines being used. So listen for these differences coming from our speakers, and we will do our best to sort of highlight which particular piece we're talking about during the conversation. Some dynamic baselines are used to evaluate trends from the past up to a point in time and then become predictive. Somebody put into the chat here, aren't dynamic baselines ex post? Some of them are. Some of the ways that we see ex post evaluation coming in is sort of a real-time calculation of dynamic baselines, what's happening across the landscape compared to what's happening right now. We see dynamic baselines that are being required under different methodologies. And we also see dynamic baselines being used as a tool for independent evaluation. Not all dynamic baselines make use of remotely sensed data. Some do, and some do it really powerfully. But there's also ways to perform statistical analysis that makes use of pooled data without actually using remote sensing data. And those are also something that we're considering a dynamic baseline. And finally, the scale of comparison. Those of us who like to geek out about how to form a really good dynamic baseline can go really far into, are we pixel matching? Are we parcel matching? Are we clustering? And so that scale does really matter and varies depending on who's implementing the process.